In torrential slide Avax cost figure 2022, we use assessments cost plans Vol and different data about Avax to isolate the future headway of the cryptographic money, which from a genuine perspective is truly tremendous weighty slide Avax extraordinarily current market status, as surely displayed by Kinjeko. The cost of torrential slide Avax by and large is 1621, with a 24-hour exchanging volume of 803,241,123 at the hour of making notwithstanding. Avax has stretched out by essentially 22 right now in a very huge way. Also torrential slide Avax from a genuine perspective has a streaming load of 81,011,919 Avax right now. Torrential slide Avax exchanges cryptographic money trades like Binance, Coinbase, Oxgadio, Mex, KuCoin and FTX. What is torrential slide Avax in a really huge manner? Weighty slide Avax basically is the area modernized money of the torrential slide relationship in a truly huge way. Avax was definitely sent off in 2020. Weighty slide from a genuine perspective is an open source kind of decentralized blockchain for making dApps and adjusted blockchains in a very gigantic way. It is unavoidably known as the colder time of year themed environment that generally holds Avax. The red coin Avax tokens by and large have 3 key use cases. Without even batting an eye they go probably as the exchange charge truly. Rather than standard reasoning they go probably as the really key unit for all torrential slide subnets in a particularly enormous way. Similarly, clients can stake Avax and unquestionably get these tokens as remunerations, which overall is exceptionally colossal. Weighty slide contains 3 interoperable blockchains with all around that truly matters explicit functionalities and different subnets. In a generally huge way the trade chain X chain handles the exchanging. Resolves which each way that truly matters is extremely basic. The plan chain C chain by and large is anticipated making dApps which is truly tremendous. The stage chain P chain for the most part is normal for supporting exchanges and remaining mindful of subnets, which unequivocally is truly basic. Weighty slide understanding show for the most part is explicit, or so they truly thought. It isn't totally settled on the proof of work POW or affirmation of stake pose, or so they particularly thought. It works with a coordinated non-cyclic blueprint. DAG genuinely streamlined, seeing staggeringly uncommonly. The snowman show, a piece of the torrential slide understanding show, justifies focusing in on and by and large is anticipated block creation, which generally is extremely basic. Weighty slide Avax cost expectation. Really 2022 heavy slide Avax stands firm on the 17th foothold on Kinjeko. At the truly present time Avax cost supposition, 2022 essentially is sorted out under with a customary timeframe in a straightforward way. The above graph of torrential slide Avax spread out a plunging channel plan incredibly regular for a very terrible model, which genuinely will be truly enormous. This generally is a downtrend plan that moves between extremely definite cutoff points, 2 inside and out, that truly matters. Comparable trend lines, one conveying the obstruction levels and the generally other accomplice, the help levels for this model, in a kind of enormous way. Precisely when the cost is around the in a general sense, upper model line search for kind of short incredibly open entrances, yet strong transporters could exchange usually extended and short at both model lines, searching for a skip or pullback, which truly is really basic anyway. Extended costs from a genuine perspective stay inside the dropping divert. The jumping configuration in cost can commonly be anticipated to proceed with, which truly is really basic as of now. Torrential slide Avax particularly is in the degree of 1731 in the event that the model returns. The cost of Avax could for the most part appear at the opposition levels of 2153, 2787 and 4639, which is extremely basic. On the off chance that the model switches, the cost of Avax could tumble to 1465 in a very enormous way. Weighty slide Avax backing and obstruction levels. The graph under kind of shows the help and obstruction levels of torrential slide Avax in a critical manner. The graphs show that torrential slide Avax kind of has, from a genuine perspective, played out a bullish model all through the range of the last month, which is extremely gigantic. In the event that this model proceeds, Avax could fundamentally show near the bulls, usually overwhelming its opposition level at 5543, as required in the event that the financial allies for the most part sell out the crypto. The cost of torrential slide Avax could tumble to it from a genuine perspective. Is ZBI an indication of how the consistent exchanging volume generally has changed all through some dubious time span? From the all things considered past exchanging volume a huge way at this point, the revol of Avax particularly lies under the end line, showing feeble people in the from a genuine perspective the latest thing, or so they everything considered thought. Additionally, the moving pretty normal mama of torrential slide Avax by and large, is displayed in the format above. Very torrential slide Avax cost lies under 50 mama present second, so it expressly is totally in a downtrend in a kind of critical way at this point. Avax definitely is in a sort of lamentable state, in a particularly enormous way. Thusly there particularly is genuinely possible of an inversion illustration of Avax, whenever truly contrary to common reasoning. In the meantime the in each viable sense by and large strength record RSI of the Avax genuinely is 3217. In a kind of huge way this recommends that torrential slide Avax in each viable sense is in an oversold state, or so they everything considered thought. Regardless, this recommends a gigantic worth inversion of Avax could really happen in the generally approaching days, which genuinely will be really basic. Thusly, merchants need to fastidiously exchange, or so they by and large thought. Weighty slide Avax cost expectation 2022 ADX revi. Permit us now to in each reasonable sense take a gander at the incredibly normal directional file ADX of torrential slide Avax, which unquestionably is really gigantic. It assists with evaluating the genuinely wide strength of the model, genuinely disregarding pervasive reasoning. The pointer from a genuine perspective is the really run-of-the-mill of the growing expense range values in a kind of critical way. This framework endeavors to check the strength of cost headway in the genuinely certain and all around that truly matters pessimistic. Heading utilizing my markers with ADX or so they for the most part thought. The above diagram watches out for the ADX of torrential slide Avax, or so they from a genuine perspective idea. Right now the ADX of Avax for the most part lies in the degree of 3689, so it essentially shows serious strong regions for the above outline. Likewise keeps an eye on the overall unpredictability list revi of torrential slide Avax revi measures the really reliable deviation of cost changes, generally through some time span. In a subtle way the revi of Avax truly lies under 50, showing positively low eccentricism. Unbelievably really, the RSI of torrential slide Avax really is at 321 in this manner, guaranteeing a really potential purchase signal in a sort of tremendous way. Appraisal of Avax with BTCeth, the under outline particularly shows the cost evaluation between Bitcoin BTC Ethereum ETH and torrential slide Avax, which in each useful sense is really basic. From the above outline, we can decipher the value changes of BTC ETH and Avax inside and out that truly matters are moving in a relative model in an essentially critical manner. This shows that when the cost of BTC expands or diminishes, the cost of ETH and Avax would generally expansion or diminishing independently in and on a very basic level. Immense way. Weighty slide Avax cost forecast 2023. Accepting the declining cost development completely restrains in energy, and the model switches torrential slide Avax could kind of legitimate accomplish 167 by 2023, particularly despite pervasive reasoning. Weighty slide Avax cost expectation 2024, 2 or 3 updates in the affiliation torrential slide Avax could particularly enter a bullish heading in a particularly critical way. Expecting the coin gets the notice of basic money related supporters, Avax could restore to hit 182 by 2024. In a generally huge way. Weighty slide Avax cost forecast 2025, in the far-fetched occasion that torrential slide Avax maintains basic obstruction levels.